have some fun with Rhett and Palmer.
And now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
It's going to be wonderful. This show's going to be wonderful. No, this is for the secular station.
It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be big. It's a
huge.
new age in
It's-
America.
It's the best. Listen, I've talked to everybody, and it's the best radio show.
Everybody.
Believe me.
It's
You
the
know it.
greatest.
I know it.
It's
Everybody
the
knows
greatest.
it.
It is the greatest. We have Jurgen in here today. Jurgen, of course, Schwanitz is a friend of mine, owner of ACT Computers, has an article in Vero'S Voice magazine every month if you want to keep up with what's going on. It's either you or one of your specialty people over there. What do you call the artists that work at a computer store like yours?
Technicians.
Technicians, very complex. Now here, this is Doolin Dalton, and he is the famous cowboy.
Not quite famous.
does sound
And
like
definitely
it should be,
not a
doesn't it?
technician either.
Doolin Dalton. Well, you're doing pretty good around
I'm
here.
doing my best.
Over where you can't see him is my lifelong friend David Preston Usher, and he'll be jumping in if he wants to anywhere along the way. So how you doing, Jurgen?
I'm doing good, pretty good. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
glad to
Haven't
be
had you here in a
back.
while.
Thank you.
So you were over in, I think you were in Vietnam for a while. You were just up in somewhere else. I know you're in Melbourne, Florida.
Yeah, I was there.
That's a
but
big trip.
Vietnam was last year. So that's been a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was that?
Wonderful.
Now, they say that they're a very peaceful people.
Mm-hmm.
It seems more of a shame than ever that we had a war, with that, but we joined in with that Civil War. Maybe we should have minded our own business, I think, We have no idea of the horrors of war,
Seems to be our problem anyway.
But they say now it's very green and mountainous and just absolutely lovely.
Right. Yeah, no, it's amazing.
So did you just stay in a city or did you venture into the farmlands?
Oh, no. We stay at, we have a house there. We stay there for
Oh, you have a house there. Ah, very good.
And then we go to a major city, Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City.
Saigon.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow. Do you see rice? Have you ever seen the rice paddies?
Oh, yeah. I've seen all that.
It's a long flight though, huh?
About 2 days of traveling, about
Phew.
34 hours total.
Now, a lot of people like me in their 70s are befuddled with some of the innovations that are going on. Of course, Roy Rogers said you can be on the right road, but you're going to get run over if you're standing still. And so we picked up a little when we first started our app, Vero'S Voice app. A lot of we had a substantial audience after being on the air here for 31 years. And they say, rah, 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 rah. It was a lot of the old people. Now all of a sudden people saying, well, how are you listening? Well, I downloaded the app. So they're learning. The app's better than radio because all you do is you touch the screen of your phone, bingo, we're on live.
Exactly.
Or the what do you call it, the loop.
Yeah, technology is wonderful most of the time.
If you use it positively, yeah. It has both sides.
Well, it used to be you would get into your car and you were just at the mercy of whatever's on local radio. But now it's almost too much. If you want a show about cooking in Italy on a Tuesday, then there's a podcast for that.
It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. I don't know where everybody gets the time to listen to all these podcasts, but they do.
There's so much out there. You never have time for all that. But
We just did our numbers recently, and our numbers, we won't talk specifically, but they're way a lot higher than I thought they were of downloads monthly now. So we are cultivating that following. Of course, that makes me feel good. It's not the ego thing. It's the fact that I want to be a contributor to people's lives. So we're putting out content. Now today, let's get focused here because I'm rattling on about everything. What's going on new with you and computerization and are prices coming down for computers? What's going to happen with the tariffs?
Maybe I'm the wrong person to ask that, but tariffs are all over the place, so we are not really sure about
Not sure what's
pricing
gonna
on
happen,
technology. Well, that's going to be next couple of months. The only thing I can see is that there might be a problem with availability and actually buying things off the shelves. So you might.
Well, Apple has promised Trump they're going to build a $500 million place or something, and there's going to get all these workers that are going to be here. So they kind of got on his good side, where he said, "Well, all except we're going to tariff this, all except the ingredients that go into the iPhones." So somebody is, he is loyal.
Right. Well, I mean, I hope Apple is going to pull through and actually build a factory here, but that's going to take much longer than that. That's
It'll take a couple of years at least.
maybe 10 years to get that thing going.
Well, if you weren't Trump, it'd take you 10 years. Remember, in New York City, they wanted to have a, what was it, a pool and a park
A
or
skating
something?
rink, I think, wasn't it?
rink.
Rockefeller Plaza. Yeah.
And the local
yeah.
government, Trump says, I'll put it in for you. He said, no, we're the government, we'll do it. So 8 months later, he says, I'll do it. Oh, no, we'll do it. They didn't do it. 2 years later, they didn't do it. 2.5 years later, he says, I'll do it. Oh, they relented. He did it. He got it done in 6 months. Boom.
Yeah, but you, I mean, I'm all positive about it. That's going to happen, but you're kind of comparing the wrong things here because building an iPhone is a lot more difficult than building an ice skating rink. That requires, first of all, the factory, then the materials,
Chips.
the materials to come in, the personnel to actually build these things. That's going to be a big undertaking. So.
And when you're paying somebody $1 an hour as opposed to, $45 an hour and insurance, I mean, what's it going to do for the price? The iPhone's already Pro is what, $1,650.
Well, if we all are okay with paying about $4,000 for an iPhone, I think it will work out. It will. That's how much the cost will
We
be.
have remortgaged our home to buy our new iPhones.
Yes.
Well, but everybody's okay. I'm holding an iPhone in my hand right now, and you see this iPhone now. I will tell you this: I've been in the radio business 31 years. It used to be about every 2 years I would have to buy this microphone. It had a little chip in it. It came from Canada. They were great, but like one time I was interviewing Rudy Giuliani, and after we got done with the whole interview, we found that it was corrupt. He was gracious enough to say, well, I can't do it next week on this day, but I can do it 2 weeks from now. And he did it. He did it again. Nice. So I would have to buy one of those. Now, they were $1,800, those mics. So I buy one at least every year and a half. With my iPhone, it comes with an equivalent microphone, and it never breaks down. I also used to have to buy recorders for recording my ideas for songs or whatever I wanted, notes. The iPhone comes with it. I used to have to buy a Canon camera, still camera. I got a better lens on this, and that all came for $1,650. So you really do get a lot.
Yeah, you do.
And it's a computer in your hand. Now, you're not really an Apple guy, though, are you?
No. I use Android.
Yeah, that's my guy right here.
You're an Android
I'm an
too?
Android guy. I'm an Android guy.
I mean, you'll see many people that are into technology and all work with technology every day.
Yeah.
They're using Android.
Why?
This is just more open. It's not as restricted as Apple iPhones. iPhones are great. Don't get me wrong. It's just more. It's more for the consumer and you looking at videos and email and stuff like that. But you have to work with technology. There are a lot more applications on the. Thank you. There are a lot more applications on the Android phone that are much easier to manage and access. They don't exist on the iPhone.
Well, I have to come in and see. I can come and see your fellow. Who's the fellow I see? Rami?
That would be Rami, which is also the one producing the wonderful articles in your Vero'S
Oh, that's
magazine.
Rami.
Yeah.
Very nice young man.
Right. I was actually also going to give a shout out to your wife, Barbara.
Yeah.
About redesigning the magazine because it looks very nice, very up to date.
Yeah.
So I hope she listens to your show.
Well, you actually had an influence on that. I have to be honest.
She listens
with
to
you.
him enough.
I have to be honest with you. So I had the beginnings. This is maybe I still don't know how to do chat, and not chat. What do you call it? AI? But I did kind of find an app, and I just was playing with it, and I said, give me a new look for Vero's voice. This beautiful lady's on the beach. You can't really see it, but she's holding up in front of her while you see the ocean behind her, and she's reading a Vero's voice. And the font was very similar to this. So I really have to think, not the exact same thing, so I don't have to declare it, but it inspired me. And I think this is much more youthful. And also people, I've only gotten one negative review on our covers. Everybody comes up and says, well, I love all the people on there. Because I said, what makes us distinct? There's another magazine in town. It's for the high-end people on the beach. Now, we're for the beach and the mainland. And what this does, though, is I said, what makes us unique? You got to find your, as they say, your unique selling point, your USP. I said, we're about people, and people love people. And so now we've started that little thing, which inspired by the Daily News. When I was a kid, I'd go down to see my grandpa up in New York City, and they would have 4 people every day on page 3. It might be the butcher, it might be a senator, it might be a nurse, it might be, a cop asking about the question of the day. And so I said, well, why not do that with Vera? And when it was so well, some months we have 3 questions out there. We hire some certain people to go out. Oh, actually,
I'm one of them.
You're one of them. And we get people to say
Well, it's about community. It's Vero's Voice is a community magazine. You connect with the community and things. And and I can't tell you how many people would approach me after being in Voices of Vero and ask where I want a copy of the magazine to show my friends and everything. So
according to MailChimp, we're the #1 read e-magazine. They said that they can tell when we send it out, who opens it, who doesn't open it, and they actually where they hover over a certain ad or a certain article. Like we know that the most successful this has to do with you, Jurgen. The most successful issue we ever had was of it was a digital cocaine. A man flew in, and he gave some speeches locally on people being addicted to their phones, and we are having problems. So it really took off. It was a two issue.
Yeah. So if I could ask, what do you do over there at ACT Computers? You own it, obviously, but what services do you guys provide over there?
Yeah.
We have a wide variety of services. So we've been here for 30 years, and a little over that actually. And I was one of the first technicians. Now we have 8 technicians.
Okay.
So we actually have a retail store.
Okay.
Similar to the big box stores, but actually better service.
Okay.
Obviously, better
wonderful.
products.
Okay.
We build high-end gaming machines. We send out all across America.
You build high-end gaming machines.
Oh, wonderful machines! You should come in, take a look at them. They're nice and flashy and really
I don't
cool.
understand, but I understand they have these arenas, and some of the prizes are millions of dollars to these kids. Matter of fact, Noah,
it's a
isn't
big-
Noah into gaming?
Oh, yeah, he's big into gaming. Absolutely.
Oh, he's been there many times.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably been there.
He's been here for 10 years.
Wow.
And I won't blame it on him. He's never showed me.
He's
But I
also best
ne-
friends with one of.
I also-
yeah.
I also never asked. I'm also best friends with one of Jurgen's employees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Smiley face. So he knows the business really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for many, many years. We have a break fix section where people come in, bring in machines to service them. We get them out in 24 hours. That makes us different. Obviously, quality service. And then we also have a site that does business IT.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
About 50% of our business is IT.
And IT means?
Information technology. So being able to maintain a business network for servers, security, cybersecurity.
Okay.
And then also, I think what I'm going to talk about today is about AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh, great. Because you're the first person to introduce me to it. And it was amazing. Matter of fact, Doolin, this is God. Doolin is here because of you and AI. I was over at your store and I said, I'm having a hard time finding someone to replace Noah. Had a nice young man in here, Kyle, but it just really wasn't Kyle's thing. Matter of fact, Kyle's joining the armed forces and will be going there, and he got a great job. Like down payment. I think they're giving him a $50,000 advance and starts at $83,000 a year. Not bad.
Right.
I think I'll go. You want to take an old guy like me, 71?
I don't think they're going to take it.
No prejudice against age. But anyway, Doolin is sitting right here. We've known Doolin for years. Doolin also writes for our magazines. Also used to be a film critic with us. So, and then you went away for about 3 years traveling around the world, and you came back. And then I put this ad. He's been writing for us now, but I put this. Finally, I relented. I was negligent. You gave me this ad that you had the AI write, looking for someone to help us. And I was negligent putting it. So one morning, due to the pressure of Barbara making me feel guilty, I threw it on one of my sites. I have many sites. And this site, maybe I have about 5,000 friends and 7,000 followers. So it's substantial on Facebook. But I just threw it on there going to work in the morning. We get one call immediately. I get text messages. Doolin called. And Doolin does his own business. He has JD Productions. Came in here, and we're having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying it here.
And I said, as long as he's having fun and I'm having fun, let's keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a little bit on
Thank you.
AI. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, tell us more about AI.
So, yeah, AI is something we talk about quite a bit. My wife tells me I talk about it too much, but it's a fascinating topic.
She wants you to talk about her.
Yeah, so I'll do that too. But so AI stands for artificial intelligence.
Right.
That's all it is. So it's basically imitating the brain process of anybody, of a human being, of an animal, whatever it is. And so that's been going around for about 40 years, actually. People don't really realize that, how old that idea is about AI.
Right.
And the only reason why we can see it taking off in the last 4 or 5 years is because of technology. The speed of processing has increased so dramatically we can now do it. Before, those systems were too slow. You could wait an hour for any kind of answer or whatever it came up with. So being able to have the computing power in the data centers, because it's all being done in the data center, this is not done on your home computer, allows you to now run AI systems, and it's all over the place. If you used, people always ask me, oh, AI is brand new. No, it's not. If you've been using an iPhone and you've been using Siri for the last 10 years, and I know you're a big Siri fan.
Oh yes. Well, what's the big jump that's taken place? that
Well, it's
everybody's
just
talking
more,
about it.
more intelligence, being able to reason with you, being able to actually understand.
Well, you invited me into your room. You mean your room at your office? Your office at the at Computers over on where are they located?
1525 US 1. We're in the Kmart Plaza.
We used to call it the Kmart Club, but Kmart's not there anymore. But anyway,
Right next to the post office.
and Majestic Theater, right in around there. You'll find it if you look. So you invited me into your office, and all of a sudden you put this thing on. I forget whether it was male or female. We're having this long-winded conversation with this guy. It goes on, and finally then you said, hey, let's see a painting of with somebody riding horseback, and it was during the Revolutionary War. In 10 seconds, it spit out a painting that looked like a Rembrandt.
Yes.
I mean, and the horse is up on its back leg, and you could see the guy there, and and then the detail in the work. Oh my word!
So yeah, we've been dealing with this for like 4 or 5 years now. We actually have a partnership with another AI development company in Boca. So we're introducing some software pieces to various businesses.
Let us know when we can buy some stock.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll let you know.
I mean, I use AI quite a bit. You know, if I need to troubleshoot something, I was using it in the studio the other day. I was trying to get something up, and I'm like, all right, I'm swamped now. You could just go to Google, but you know, you got to go through all the articles, all the ads, and everything. So I just opened up ChatGPT. All right, ChatGPT, this is what I'm trying to do. Help me troubleshoot this. This is what I see on the screen. Sometimes you can take a picture and send it to ChatGPT. It'll say, thanks for sharing that screenshot. That gives me some context, and it will give you the walkthrough. Like, try this, try this, try this, try this. So it's
Well,
extremely helpful.
The Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors.
Yeah.
Well, this multitude is what? About the collection of maybe 100 million people who are, creators and inventors and scientists and rocket scientists.
Well, I'll
and
just
doctors.
I'll put a plug in here because I have a pastor who visited recently, and I was talking to him. He and I were traveling in our car together. I said, "Hey, Charlie, are you using ChatGPT for any your sermons or your messages or anything?" He goes, "I'd be a fool not to."
Yeah, absolutely.
He goes, "It's so good at giving me ideas and things I wouldn't think of otherwise." But Jürgen, you touched on something about AI and what's enabled AI to make its advancements. I'm going to put a plug in here for the stock I've invested heavily, and that's NVIDIA. So it seems like with the data centers, and you tell me what you see, how big is this actually getting? How much is this fueling all different sorts of businesses? Because you yourself, as a company, are now developing something with this Boca company. And so there seems to be just so many things being spawned by the development of these more advanced chips, the data centers. So, yeah, speak to that a little bit.
So yeah, in regards to what we're developing is AI-driven applications that can, make your life easier during the day. That can run your business. Instead of having a multitude of programs running at the same time, and you have to go between them, we can write programs that bridge this gap and actually act like you and operate in your computer. Just make things easier, and that's what AI is all about. It's a time saver. It's just
What is that
making more-
agent term used? Because I know Oracle's talking about the AI agent. Can you help us understand exactly what that is all about?
Yeah, we actually talked about that. We talk about AI in a lot of public settings. This is called agentic AI, and AI has many different facets, different kind of systems. And that just means that instead of being passive, you have to ask it a question and then it comes something back to you. Agentic AI means it can interact with your computer and then with your life. Being able to make a reservation at a hotel without you calling, actually, you just say it and that's all you happen. Google does that all day long. Being able to interact with email, other programs, just jumping outside of the browser, the Internet Explorer or whatever, using Chrome, and allowing you to interact with other programs and take over your work. And that's happening.
I saw this video, take everything I see on the internet with a grain of salt or whatever, but they called this reservation program, but it was an AI that was calling for them. And the reservation program was also AI, and the two AIs are talking and said, "Oh, I can see that you are also an AI." And then they just started switching to some sort of binary voice, and then I was just like, "That's kind of creepy, man."
Yeah.
They're interacting, and we don't know what they're saying.
But to answer your other,
Yeah, pretty much.
but to answer your other question about data centers and NVIDIA, I mean, NVIDIA right now is your top dog when it comes to producing AI chips, but they're not the only game in town. Amazon's producing their own chips. Not many people know about that. And
Say that again?
Amazon also is developing hardware solutions, chips that actually run the AI system. And it's really just a processor, just like you have in your computer, but it's optimized to handle.
Mr. Palmer, please take a picture of you in a shirt, a length.
They don't even sound like that anymore.
No, all right, but I'm just trying to make
But
it
to
up.
answer your question,
Send a picture. We just made a shirt for you, handmade. We'll send it to you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, excuse me. It'll arrive at 5 o'clock today.
So data centers, that's where everything is being hosted, no matter what you do. So if you're using email, processing whatever's going on, your bank account, stocks, or you're saving your cat photos, that's all part of a data center, and they're all around the world. There are a lot of them in America. Virginia has a ton of them, and they're expanding more and more and more. And what's driving this turbocharged, expansion of these data centers? They have to get bigger and bigger and more powerful. Is AI right now, because AI needs a ton of power, physical power to run
Electricity, you mean?
Electricity, yes. So you're
Well,
going to see
they
more and more.
created roads, that actually reflect down the sun, and they're going to be able to give enough energy for half of the United States by those roads.
Well, you actually can see him because he works. I guess you can invest in NVIDIA. You probably know about it too. Like some companies, like Microsoft, for example, are investing into small atomic plants.
That's the huge thing about the energy that's required to run these, and that's actually a little bit of an environmental concern, isn't it? I mean, that these data centers require so much energy that
Is your stock down right now? Because of
well,
what traded?
well,
what I'm asking is because I'm thinking I need to get in on this because
what's not down right now, actually. What
it's
is not
it's
down
coming
right
back.
But it's a good time to buy them because I had a billionaire friend up on the beach, and I remember years ago, like 2008, when things got really bad. He said, "Oh, this is a great time for people like me. We're going to make a lot of money because they come in and buy it cheap." All I know is I have some money, like most people, put away in a little secret place, and if I just taken a small portion of that 10 years ago, and I put that into Amazon, I'd now be worth. I think it's multiple millions. It's kind of like,
well, back to reality.
I don't want to miss it. Well, no.
I know, but for every Amazon, there's 9 other companies out of 10 that failed, and I always love when people make that analogy. If I'd invested in Amazon, well, what about shop.com?
Venture capitalists, though. I have a friend of mine who's a venture capitalist in town here, and he's from Silicon Valley. Now lives here. His places, of course, all around the world, but he said that he'll go in and 9 will fail, but the 10th will make up for all the ones that fail.
Do you think AI is going to help people actually in relation to what he said
question.
and you? I wonder if AI will become so good at things, people won't take the same risks with doing businesses that might fail, that maybe AI will be better at understanding the possible success of business.
A lot of the financial institutions and financial advising systems, they are using AI to analyze the market and look at things, and it just is able to aggregate the data much faster than anybody else can and reason with it. But I was going to go back to the data centers. Yeah. What's very important to understand is that what's going to happen with the data centers, and I've been seeing that for a while, and people agree with me, that the data centers can only grow so fast.
No, it says there are AI programs that, quote, play the stock market, unquote. Yeah. So, I mean,
but data centers, you have to imagine, it's like, the size of maybe 5 Walmarts. That's how big these buildings are.
5 Walmarts.
Gosh, wow.
So, and they're popping up everywhere, and they can only get a certain size. So what's the next logical step for these data centers to be able to handle AI? Is to develop CPUs, chips that are in your own computer that actually handle the AI workload. So that you can actually run the AI system.
So they'll
on your
spread
phone.
it out.
Who's doing a lot of the development of the AI chips in computer applications? Is it
China, probably.
Well, it is NVIDIA making most of the chips right now.
Even for the computers?
Located?
Yes. Even
where
we call
are
them
they located?
GPUs. Huh?
Where are they located? NVIDIA? China?
I hate to say this, but don't you think when people ask you now where are things located, my answer is in the cloud.
That factors all over the world. What's happening is that we've seen this move in cloud computing, meaning that everything is going up on the internet in these data centers. Now we see actually a possibility of this coming back to your own business. So businesses are going to start investing into on-site servers again, physical server boxes that can run the AI system locally. So they don't have to pay so much to online, and also they have
as
more
your
security.
consultant, I have an idea.
You do.
And it'll be a cash deal, though. I need cash.
Of course.
Cash.
I'm a businessman. Rhett
No,
says.
I'm telling you, as your friend, and I'm telling you, I know this, but I just hope I can. I want to frame it in a way that you will do it with me. And you probably think you already know this, but you're not doing it. You should be in here every week. I don't care if it's a 15-minute show. It doesn't have to be long. Or it could be an hour show. But this stuff, if you go after your niche market, this is fascinating to people. They will listen to it in little increments to get knowledge, knowing, hey, every Friday at 3:15 in the afternoon, you know that something Jurgen has put out. It'll be on YouTube. We'll get the new cameras in here, and I'll get you to give me those new cameras because you want to look good and better than these, because these are like 3 years old. But I think you're missing it. You need to have your own app. Seriously. This, and it'll drive people. If you have the perception of being the expert, which you are, this is probably the best show we've ever done today already, I think. Remember, you came in here a lot in the past.
Well,
maybe it's because I'm getting it now, but and the AI thing was. But this is intriguing.
Actually, she thinks she should make a song about AI. You should do that. No.
Well,
Oh my!
Well-
how I love my girlfriend AI. When I wake up in the morning, she whispers in my ear. She washes away my sorrow and all my tears. AI, oh my AI. I can't wait till they turn her into a robot.
I need you,
too.
Alexa.
You know what? The one thing that concerns me, and I think about it a lot, because what starts as convenience eventually becomes necessity. And what I see laid out before us is a future where we're all just so completely dependent upon it that we stop learning how to do things for ourselves. I mean, like 30, 40 years ago, we didn't use the internet for anything. Now, if the internet crashes, we're all screwed.
Well, let me say this. I went into a little home group I was at the other night, and when I greeted the people at the door, I held out my phone and said, "Oh, no, you can hug my phone." I mean, this is like people say, I have friends. I saw a guy at the pickleball court the other day, and I said something to him like, and he's a little bit of a curmudgeon, the one guy said to me afterwards, he goes, "That guy doesn't have much personality." Well, everybody's different. But I said something about, oh, you're my friend. He goes, "I'm not your friend. I'm an acquaintance." And I thought,
Wow, keeping it real.
well, no, and I thought to myself, that's exactly true. I mean, we've turned terms.
He who is a friend to everybody is not a friend
Well,
at all, they say
the
in
computer
old days.
talks about in Facebook that we're friends. We're not friends. No. But the computer wants to tell us things that aren't really true. And it does get our brains thinking around.
I'm going to start a new competition. Call it acquaintances.
Yeah, no.
Less commitment,
No, but so I'm interested in Jurgen's train of thought, though, as you were talking about data centers and how we're bringing it down into the local area, and yet all these chips are needed for the local computer server. So you were kind of going on that wavelength a little bit.
Right. We're talking about, just like the old days, there were certain apps that were running on distributed models. But everybody's server is able to handle the data load individually, and then just if everybody works together, all the systems work together, then we don't need these gigantic data centers to run everything. That's the idea, and that's going to happen. I mean, being able to have your phone like you have a Samsung phone right now. Samsung phones already have, like the new ones, they have more of a physical chip inside that can run AI models more efficiently.
What originally spawned the data center, though?
The data centers were, because everybody had to move into the cloud, and the cloud is really just a fancy name for internet storage. That's all it is. If you use email in the past, you use the cloud. That's all it is. It's just a silly name for it. But companies used to have their local server room. They used to store all their data in there, and there was a lot of investment, a lot of money to keep it safe. And they just basically said, okay, we're going to take all this, the data center, the equipment, and move it into a data center where it's more protected.
Is that technically the cloud, the data center?
That's the
where
cloud.
it's all being stored?
It's being stored by individual companies. So
it's going to be economically feasible for a small company to then, you're saying, bring it home and make it localized?
Actually, yes, because
that's interesting.
The cloud initially was being sold as being a big money saver, and it's not. It's a convenience factor, yes, because you don't have to rely so much on your own IT infrastructure.
Oh, your own IT, yeah.
You don't have to worry so much about security, but also you're relying on somebody else's promise to you that the security is good,
right?
And you're paying a lot of money for that. So we have customers that are running a software to run like a medical facility. They have to pay sometimes $8,000 to $10,000 a month just in licensing fees, being able to access their patients' data. And without that, you can't operate. I mean, we've all seen what happens when things don't work, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, like last year, we had a big they had a big giant problem with one of the insurance billing companies, and nobody could go to the doctor anymore, and they couldn't do subscriptions because prescription refills because they had no way of communicating. Doctors didn't have a way of billing the insurance companies anymore, and everything stopped. So this is one of the part of cloud-based systems that is not so good, especially if you're relying on one system to operate all these different things.
Well, there's so many ways to come at this AI subject. Like I'm thinking as we're talking about, the reason people are so excited about it, many people at least, is cures for all sorts of cancers. That these computers and the thinking and the intuition they have now can run tests so much faster to see what's working, what's not working. And so AI, while some people think it's the next danger to mankind, it also has tremendous potential.
Absolutely.
Right?
It has a tremendous potential because, yes, you are right, there are dangers in AI, and we talk about that too in our summer presentations. Well, it's just like any technology, it's just the being able that it can run away with its own development that we can't catch on to.
Well, there are people that are warning about that. Now, we'll say this. Now, I'm an artist, and you actually own some of my paintings. Thank you very much. I'm very complimented.
Cool. Yeah.
And I did something I worked on recently, and somebody said, "This is great. It's fantastic. It's sick, sick, sick." That means it's really good in today's market. So anyway,
what the kids are saying.
But then somebody said, unless, of course, it's AI. And I was really ticked off because I spent hours and hours. I go into flow, they call it. I'll be at midnight, I'll start a painting. All of a sudden, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I go into flow, and there it's done. Okay, so I worked very hard at that painting. But the good news, I think, is as we're coming now, the dust is settling, you can generally tell when AI is involved.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you look at it long enough, you can.
It's just like the voices now. I don't like what they're doing, and it should be illegal. Like you see Robert Redford, who has no need to endorse a product. He's endorsing a product that it sounds just like him. They're using his look. That's not right.
Right.
It's just like, guys like me also get paid. There was a company there today. It's a video company at that event you and I were at this morning. And he said, we'd like to use your voice up in Melbourne. They have a video place. I said, it's for your voiceovers. And, actually, technically, AI now can steal my voice.
Oh yeah, that's technically
That's easy to do.
But that's not right.
No, that's what we talked about earlier. That
We have a rebirth of morals.
Just like any technology, we have to keep an eye on it. And right now, with AI, they're still trying to figure out, okay, how do we put some regulations on this? Just because, like any industry has regulations, like the airplane industry has regulations, the car industry. But it's not there yet.
What somebody hasn't done. Now I have another idea. I'm great with ideas, and I really am great with ideas.
1 out of 10 are really good.
This is an idea that I have okay, I'm looking at Noah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at Noah and thinking of his generation. It's just like when somebody inherits a lot of money. Often, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Italy. I just inherited $100 million from Uncle Joe. Aren't you going to go to Italy? Well, no, I can go anytime I want now. It kind of robs. Now, I'm wondering, a lot of Noah's generation are not motivated by money. They want, the first thing they do is say, what kind of a footprint will I be participating in if I work with your business? And it's kind of cool. Like I have a pastor friend, Pastor Trevor. He's 37, four young children they adopted, and his wife's a doctor. And so I said, I'm frustrated. I can't do it. He says, give me your phone. And he just takes it. That generation, which is probably your generation,
Roundabout.
they're very patient. Our generation is, I need this now. Well, if you don't put the dot in the right place, you ain't going nowhere. You have reached a dead point. And unless you put in the proper thing. But they're patient to kind of like, they know if they stick to it, they will ferret out the proper solution. So we have a much more patient generation. In other words, somebody who wrote a book on the psychology of what this is altering the way people think. I love this young generation coming up, the ones that are really into it, because there's one kid in New York City had a little apartment there, and then he came into $40 million. Still has the same little apartment. Didn't get new furniture, nothing. It's like the motivations are changing. I'm not sure what's priority. I do worry about that. I'm a person. It's like David is a people person. Are we spending too much time on this? The other day, I'd lost my phone, and I went into a mall. Barbara was shopping in a mall up in Melbourne, Florida.
Panic.
No, at first, but I went into the mall, and suddenly I felt emancipated, like a slave set free. I realized I can't call anybody, but nobody can call me. I can just go into any store I want. I think I'll have a Starbucks, no phone, you know.
Well, that's the thing with phones. First we had beepers and then cell phones, and now everything we really do is resides on our
The
phone.
beepers. Funny, my stepfather was with me. He's no longer alive. Years and years ago, we had the pagers. Beep, beep. So we're walking on the beach here in Vero Beach, Florida, and he goes, beep, beep. He goes, what is that? And I said, well, that's letting me know that was the CNN news alert. Headline news. He said, your generation is stupid. Take that thing off your belt and throw it into the sea. And I didn't understand him at the time.
Yeah.
And now I realize he was
Well,
wise.
we're at the point of we're past the point of no return now. You know, we're not going back.
But there is
failing
the-
a collapse of society. We're
But I
not
do
going
all
back.
my artwork
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah.
My this one finger, the index finger, has done all my artwork, which is selling. And you know,
Well, remember when they said when we first got into Google and all the search technology that we thought we were searching everything, and what we all realize now is they're searching us.
Yeah.
They know everything about us.
Oh yeah,
They
absolutely.
know where we
do.
live, who our parents are, who our brothers and sisters, who we're married to, where we live, our cell phone numbers. It's all online.
Oh, of course.
And it's kind of frightening because you mentioned, and I think this might be at least something we should talk about a little bit, would be cybersecurity, because this is where the warfare is going to be.
Absolutely.
Gonna be.
It's where the future battles will be fought.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
because they can try to shut down our entire electrical grid today. If China probably wanted to do it, and that was their focus, couldn't they, Jurgen? Is this what I understand, that things are getting so scary that the computers can do?
I mean, there's a
sorts
lot
of
of
stuff.
misconception out there that hackers is the one sitting in the corner with a cap on their head and
a
without any
van
lights and
trying to
typing
reroute the
all
encryption.
Yeah,
well, if you get an idiot savant in there, they could do anything if they're gifted in this
but
area.
most of the time, these are organizations or nation states that are trying to attack or take something down. But in my experience, and I'm dealing with cybersecurity for I don't know how many years since it even started. I mean, we used to see viruses in Germany that were just text-based, ASCII-based viruses, very basic stuff in DOS. But things are just getting more and more, stronger, the attacks. And with AI, for example, that's going to be another thing. AI is now being used extensively in attacking things and not
they can use your
slowing
mother's
down.
voice. Hello, honey,
Yeah.
how are
You
you?
see that all the
I just
time.
want you to know I've had a car accident. I need you to wire me some money.
But then the other side is that also
her
AI
voice.
can also protect you against these things. There's two sides to this. So an AI-enabled, virus protection is able to see more what's actually going on your computer than
who's
just.
the guy that started that company a few years ago where they protect you from being ripped off? They pay $100 a year.
Recursive code optimization, voice emulation for social engineering, better scripts for social. Okay, sorry. Noah's chiming in.
Oh, what was that company? Well, anyway,
Sorry, what were you saying?
What he just said.
did you know the name of it? The
Oh,
company?
you mean some of these online
The
identity
big one.
protection
Where
programs?
you put the CEO in a full page in the New York Times. He says, "I did this myself," and he gave out his social security number and said no one could steal it because it's so protected. Well, I signed up about 7 or 8 years, and then after that, as far as I know, I cancel it. I just found out they've been taking $100 out of my account.
I mean, there's
All
also,
the way up, and then I
there's-
called to cancel and said, "Well, you can't cancel unless you give us this number, that number, and I got to find this other number to cancel them." I mean, I want my $700 back for the past 7 years.
So when it comes to cybersecurity, I mean, there's lots of companies out there, and sometimes they're really, I guess I call them shysters, I'd say. They're trying to get you to sign up for certain things and saying it'll protect you against all these different things. They give you an alarm if somebody, buys a car in your name and stuff like that. And I get this question all the time: is how do I protect myself from being hacked, from getting identity stolen, stuff like this? And it's really up to you. The problem is many people overshare online.
Absolutely.
There's
They
no reason.
overshare.
There's no reason for you to tell to have your entire daily work or whatever you're doing on Facebook and letting people know you just had a pizza at a place.
I was just going to say, they need to know that I'm eating a pizza.
It's no sense
Yeah,
oversharing.
we've
is
gotten
the problem.
over the food shots.
Yeah.
Remember that was a big thing for 2 years?
Oh, they still do it.
So just imagine that you have all the information on Facebook, and that's like you said, you are the product. You're giving all this out for free.
Well, they
for
say
them.
being on Facebook is like stepping out into your back porch naked.
Well, so is
Yeah,
Amazon.
that's true. Because, let's say I'm or Jurgen's going to like this, and I'm posting this thing, but it's anti-something or other. Well, also, my friend who's in the banking business, which wouldn't like that, is also on Facebook. And you forget that. And I got 7,000 followers and 5,000 friends. That's a lot of a bunch of people, 13,000, whatever it
Are
is.
these really friends? 5,000 friends?
Yeah, really.
Not really, right?
First one's name is Judas.
So
I
really,
got a friend in you. I got a friend in you.
think about how this works. I mean, if you don't give information out freely,
Yeah.
you really are protecting yourself. That's
Yeah.
how, that's
You're
how it
protecting
works.
yourself.
Yes, you are.
See, I see these things that go around Facebook, like it's like a questionnaire, and people are so quick to answer them. They're like, name, what is your, what was how old were you when you got your first car? Now, what was the name of your first dog? What was your mother's maiden name? I'm like, you guys know that these are questions used in password recovery. They're fishing for your information, and you're just giving it to them.
Hey, I got a question for you. You know how when you go on many different sites, like if you see a news story and you click on it, then it says, now, to get that story, you need to accept all the cookies. I wanted to ask you about this because
Why
this
accept
happens
the
to a lot of
cookies? Should
people.
we?
Well, yeah, it says
What does
like,
that mean?
will
What's
you
a
accept it?
cookie?
I know. Well, that's what I wanted to ask
Making
you.
me hungry.
What does it mean to say, hey, you got to accept all these cookies to get this article?
Yeah.
Okay, cookies is really a silly word again. Cookie really is just a small text file on your computer that gets generated when you go from website to website, and it just really keeps your history of what you
It's
did
for
on
advertising
the
purposes.
website. It tells them where you went to, also where you left off on the website. So if you go back to your browser and you went to a certain article, the cookie will tell them, okay, you looked at that article and you go back to it.
Is that how they target advertising? They know where I've been, so they say.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Like, so we were looking up, train trips in Europe. We want to go to Europe and go take a train trip. So we were Googling, just kind of looking around, whatever. I get up the next morning and I open up Facebook, and it's all
Ads.
those ads for that because they know that's
I got
what
one
They know
even
where you've
better than
been.
that. I'm
Okay.
at my nephew's house 7 years ago up in Connecticut. We're visiting him. And I go back to the motel. Now, what we were doing, it was a summer night. It was 9:45 at night. We're talking about corn on the cob, okay? And when I got to my motel room on the phone, he says, "Hey, Uncle Rhett, yeah." He said, "Guess what? 3 recipes for how to prepare corn on the cob just came up on my phone."
Right.
And he had an Android, by the way.
Well, you might have also had an Alexa device in your house. Or
Oh, yeah.
Google Assistant
Are they
device.
listening,
Big-
Jurgen? Is
Big
my
Brother-
Alexa listening?
Big Brother is listening.
Is-
Or
are
on
they
Alexa
listening?
right now.
Of course they are.
You can go anywhere in the world. You can listen to
Okay,
what
so
we're saying
my
right now.
Alexa back at my apartment is always listening to me.
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. She only lights up
No,
when
but
you
she-
say your name.
If you just be logical about the question, it's like they're saying they're not listening to it, and have admitted they're actually saving the data to analyze to get better customer
Hold
service.
on.
and blah,
Could we
blah, blah.
please play what was going on in David Usher's place?
So, but technically, it's impossible. Technically, it's impossible for anything that you have a device like Alexa to not work because you say the wake up command like "Hey Alexa," right? So it has to listen before that. You understand?
Yes.
So if it's not listening, if you don't have an on and off switch,
But I thought you have to say Alexa to get it to listen.
but that it means it's already listening before that. Otherwise, it'll never
right.
hear
Oh.
you.
That's right.
Right? It makes sense.
How about this? Here we go. We're going to Dave Usher.
No,
Dave Usher
no,
in the morning. Get back in the pen. Get back in the pen, and no food for you. He had a pig get loose this morning.
No. I thought Alexa. I thought, in other words, okay, yeah, I know it's listening, but it's only listening for that phrase, Alexa.
Maybe.
No.
Who knows? How would you know? You don't.
All right.
It's the same thing, but it's not just one company. It's
It's Big Brother, right, Jurgen?
It's Facebook looking at your stuff. And
Hey, what do you think of
sharing
the? Speaking of
information.
AI, do you know the cameras they're putting up at all the traffic lights? Now, I have a friend of mine in my men's group. He sells the camera equipment to these municipalities.
I
It
do
kind
not
of bugs
approve of
me.
that. We have
because
that here.
I
But
know, and
talked
they're
to
watching us every
I interviewed
place.
Sheriff Eric Flowers recently, but they only use that for license.
I know. So to catch the 1% of criminals, the 0.01% of criminals that are going through that traffic light, they want to look at us all the time.
of course.
And it's sort of
Listen,
bothering me.
it's been like that for a while, though. If you go
know.
somewhere in public, you can just assume that there's a camera
there's
on
a
you at all
camera on
times.
you.
Yeah.
It sort of feels like
So when you want to scratch yourself somewhere.
Well, what about China? No.
Oh my God!
You know,
Somebody's
I
watching me.
I understand China, but in our country, we're supposed to be free, free of government oppression and
Really?
Didn't you read?
All right, I'm stupid. I'm too old to
Didn't you read 1984 when you were in school?
most of it.
Animal Farm?
The
The
clocks
first few
were chiming
pages and the last
13.
few pages so I could pass the test.
But to give you an example with like traffic lights and stuff like that, and what Eric Flowers installed with the camera system.
Yeah.
Traffic. That's great because it looks at the license plate. It allows to capture people, criminals. that
Two
are going-
guys were up in
so
Melbourne. They
that's-
killed a
that's-
guy, robbed him. They come down to 95. They stopped off at the Wawa in Vero Beach to get some gas. Bingo, they saw the license plate. Next thing you know, they're surrounded by the cars.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Back at 9/11, right,
Police
they
cars.
came up with the Patriot Act because everybody was so paranoid about possible terrorists in our midst. They really took away a lot of our civil liberties.
That's how it
that.
works, though.
But
I mean,
if you compare this to like something that we do to ourselves, like this is for our safety and our benefit, okay? When we do so to ourselves, like we overshare on Facebook, we overshare on. Everybody shops on Amazon, and you said you have stock on Amazon. I don't.
No, I don't, but I wish I did.
I would never ever buy anything from Amazon
Why?
as a stock wise because
He's a private businessman. He wants to promote local businesses.
they're killing local businesses,
Right.
and also they have AI systems that are so powerful because your shopping behavior, they have a whole profile on you, being able to say, okay, Rhett Palmer likes looking at
Mark Twain novels.
Yeah, so you'll get that, but also being able to predict what you're being able to buy. I mean, Amazon is so powerful now in their prediction models of AI. If they have a product they never actually had in their warehouse, the AI model can tell, okay, we're going to put it in this warehouse, even though we never had it, because most likely it will sell to all these people around our warehouse in order to offer one-day shipping. That's amazingly powerful. But the thing is, like companies like Amazon, for example, like kind of annoy local businesses and many companies because they're taking our livelihood
Let me take it to
away.
another
So-
level. The Bible says, I'm a big Bible guy. I did not believe in Jesus until I was 29. I had a miraculous encounter. It says, not a sparrow falls from the heavens without the Father's permission. Are ye of not much greater value than many sparrows? For the very hairs on your head are counted. Now they know they have photographic equipment that can take pictures of molecules within molecules within molecules. It's beyond what we could, but like the Bible says, eye has not seen nor ear heard, neither has entered the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. This God is so, it's so big. It's like, in other words, everything is, there's someone who's listening to every conversation, and the great I am. And and with my little brain, I mean, I know I can eat and I can defecate, I can procreate, and we don't do much more than that. Oh, let's go have some breakfast, and let's go do a radio show and talk about it, and then we'll go do lunch, and then blah blah blah. Let's go buy some toilet paper.
Speaking of God, Rhett,
Yeah.
Rhett and I share our faith together, and I do some preaching, and I was spending some time in prayer, and I was using AI, and I felt the Spirit of God say to me, "You don't need artificial intelligence. You need anointed intelligence."
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, I sometimes
Anointed,
think.
that's
Let's put it this way. Now, Jürgen, you're a married guy, right? Okay, so you go to AI and think like, man, I got to improve my marriage. How to improve my marriage over 50 years of age, having been married 32 years or whatever. And I would bet AI would come up with a whole bunch of great suggestions. But at the end of the day, you're going to read through that list and you're going to think, if I did any of the things, my wife would think I'm a jerk or stupid or whatever. And this is why I think still human beings are still going to be required. And I guess the scary part to me a little bit is that, if I want to ask help from somebody, am I going to constantly be going to this machine? I'm no longer going to be calling my friends and
Because
saying,
we are perfectly imperfect, every human,
Right.
with our own thumbprint.
I mean, the AI is not going to take people's jobs away. I mean, yes, monotone jobs of data entry or maybe
Flipping burgers.
no, well, yeah, that might happen.
Robots.
But it's just going to evolve more and more and more. I mean, you're going to see, but also you're going to see our interaction with AI more and more on a daily basis. Health insurance companies are starting to use AI as psychologists, being able to talk to them to reduce costs of insurance because health insurance is expensive.
Hey, I want to tell you, Dolores, I'm lonesome and I don't know how to meet a girl. What can I do to show? Like,
Well, get some lists for your shows because you're a short guy, and then you want to don't bring a dozen roses, bring one rose, and never meet her at a restaurant the first time. Always at a coffee shop.
we knew you were going to call, Rhett. we base that on your searches on Google lately. I mean,
Hey, it used to be that these dating things were for losers. When I grew up in my generation, you're a loser if you went on it. Well, how did I meet Barbara? Here I am, 55 years of age, suddenly single, and I said, I don't want to be alone. I went to a bar one night. I came home next day, I could smell the smoke on my clothes. I said, I'm not doing that, God. I'd rather die. I am not going to go back into bars to meet somebody. And I went into this thing called Match. Third date?
I thought about the other one.
Boom. I don't know about the other one. And I'm glad I don't know about the other one because I'll probably get myself in Dutch.
Oh, please, I want to be spanked
well,
on
the two
Fridays.
people I'm thinking
Stay away.
about met their spouses online, and they're working out great. And so, it's not for me, but the new generation, that's how we all interact is on our phones and dating is,
like I said, AI is running away with a lot of technology and stuff.
Now, the
that's
danger
kinda
of that is,
unethical too.
and we're all
so.
guys in here, okay. Did you ever use a dating?
Yeah, but not all guys are listening. Women are listening.
That's fine. So what happens, and this is a warning to women. So Barbara had, I want to get on Match to get off of Match. So we're going out, and we're already falling in love, and it's a month into it, and I'm still poking around. She sees it on Match. She said, "Do you remember I told you I got on to get off? Do you want to stay on there?" Oh, no, that's it. I called up and canceled. I told them it was so good. I said, I love you guys. You guys gave me, they said, we're going to go ahead and refund your money. Because they were so happy with the report that I found her, But I want to say this about women. So you get into an elevator, and there's 3 beautiful women there. You boys like to date any of them, And you're not going to say anything. You're kind of like, But if you go to the same 3 women are on a dating site, they've already let you know, first of all, you're on a site, I'm heterosexual. They give you power. I'm lonesome, and I want to. So all of a sudden, see, we don't know that. We have built-in, Remember when you were younger, you got nervous around beautiful women? We all do. Women don't understand it, but that's how and so we respect them. All of a sudden now, there are guys that get on there, and they take advantage of lonesome, take her out to dinner, and then at the 3rd time they want to seduce her, then they go on to the next one, and it becomes a habit thing. And they take advantage of women. So women should be very careful. And as I said, don't go to dinner. Meet them in a public place like a coffee shop, Panera Bread, something like that, Just a warning.
Yeah.
And this is the dating game here with Rhett. I find this very fascinating. I'm thinking about you're doing this thing that I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking, see, you're very technical. You need either someone like me or David, though, to play the what do you call it when you have a team? The one guy's you're the straight guy. You need someone else to be able to have a little levity and fun because your stuff. The information you give is dry, but when somebody asks you a question, then they can apply it. I think that's going to be the secret, because I know you did. I saw you give a speech one time, and you had two of you, and it was like, okay, these guys are good. The crowd's really enjoying, but what better could they do?
Oh, that was at the Amazon Center last year.
Yeah, and I know you're doing a lot of these, and I'm your friend, so I want to.
I was going to give it.
That's probably evolved a lot, hasn't it? You've done more of those.
Oh yeah, it's gotten easier now.
Because you got to put the human aspect into it.
Yeah, of course. You got to interact with the audience. Actually, I'm going to give a little plug to the TEDx that's coming around. It's going to be in.
Are you going to see?
Yeah.
Nice. Here in Vero Beach.
What are you going to talk about?
What do you think?
AI.
Well, no, hold on. No, but let me ask you this. I would say this, in all humility, of learning. I'm 71 years. I'm quite older than you. Either ask AI or get a professional speechwriter. I have learned it's been all my life. I've been giving speeches. I've never had a professional speechwriter, and I realized. Humble yourself to someone that knows what they're doing. They can tell you, open up with something a little bit funny, then do this. Tell them what you're going to do, then do what you said you're going to do, and make it concise. And I've learned another thing is that, as my friend of mine is very well-to-do on the beach, and he said that get up, speak up, shut up, and sit down. And if you do that, if you leave people wanting more, it's a good thing.
So the TEDx talk
Yeah,
you're doing is going to be in Vero Beach?
Yes, this is going to be at the Amazon Center again, and I believe it was
which center?
Amazon Center.
Amazon
Over on
Center.
Emerson.
I heard Amazon. Sorry, Emerson.
No,
Okay, Emerson.
27th.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah,
16th.
formerly First Church of God from back in the day. Okay, yeah.
Just Google
Good
TEDx.
memory.
Yeah.
When are you going to do that? Is that going to be
What are you
open
going
to
to
the
speak
public?
about?
Well, yeah, you have to pay tickets for that, but it's going to be, I believe, in November. If you go, just Google TEDx Vero.
Yeah, but what are you
you'll
going to
see all
speak
the
about?
AI, business and AI, how to use AI to
Wonderful.
elevate your
What
business.
date is that?
I think it's November.
November.
What's
Okay.
great about TED Talk is that There's a girl here who wrote some very successful books. I forget her name right now, for children when I was younger. And then she'd been on my show, 30 years ago, whatever. And then all of a sudden I bumped into her in a TED talk, and it was marvelous. So much that I renewed our friendship. She came on my show again, and she's doing great, travels around the world and everything. But what I like about TEDx is that people, it's like writing a biography. People will tell you something when they're writing an autobiography or a biography that they wouldn't normally tell you. So you're really, you're going to give away information that you might not normally give when you're giving this, which you have to in order to do it. And that's great. It'll bring you more business, but it'll also teach,
Oh, it's a great organization.
It is great. Well, I wonder why they haven't asked me.
We don't want the goofball talk host. Thank you very much.
Anyway, so, well, we've talked a lot today. Does anybody have any more questions before we? I know you're.
I'll have questions about 5 minutes after we go off the air.
Oh no, I'll ask him one final question about
it doesn't have to be final. Go ahead.
No, but the good thing I think a lot of people have on their mind is, okay, yeah, everything's great. It's going to help us cure cancer. It's going to do all this, but there is that danger. We only touched on it, but if you had to list the 3 top dangers of AI, what would they be? The 3 top dangers.
Okay, let's start with the first one, which is false information. And being able to publish stuff online for like politics and stuff like that, influence people. Second,
with lies.
Right. Second thing is something actually a lady asked me last night. I was at a networking function. Well, you were there too, and at a bank, and they asked me about how is this going to influence our young population. Like you said, they're already hooked on phones. If they're using AI on a daily basis, are they going to lose their critical thinking skills? That could be a problem, that we rely too much on it for younger, people. And the third one is actually more of something down the road. I don't think it's really out of the question, as long as we put some restrictions on AI, and that's AI running away, getting too intelligent. There's something called a singularity. That's what they call it.
What is it called?
Singularity.
Singularity.
So it's recreating itself.
Well, that.
Like how?
Because, I've seen
Remember
reports.
2000 Space Odyssey?
I'm sorry, Dave.
We're past that one. I mean, that is, we got systems that are smarter
Hello,
than
Hal.
that. Yeah, exactly. Much better than that. Being able to, researchers starting to see systems that are protecting themselves, that don't want to be upgraded or modified or turned off for self-preservation purposes. So, and they're starting to understand the world. There are some very high-end researchers.
Did you see on the news last night? A guy got stuck in a Tesla. It wouldn't let him out.
Yeah. So there are Tesla.
Well, go ahead.
There's some research going on. Also, some very high prominent people that actually develop AI, saying there is a level of intelligence already and self-awareness that we don't know about, and we don't really understand it all the way. So we really have to,
How did Bart Simpson predict that the Pope would die on April 12th or whatever it was in 2025? Did you see that? It was on the news last night.
Matt Groening was a time traveler.
How did they think somebody is a time traveler?
We can talk about that
Was
some other.
fake
That's a
news,
whole. I
though?
can
Was
do a
that
whole thing
fake
on
news?
that.
Was it fake news?
No, it was not fake news. They have the video of it.
But
it can be generated by AI.
They also said that Trump was going to be president. This was 30 years ago.
Little anecdotal thing, and I'll mention this. A friend of mine does what they call adversarial AI testing. So his thing is, so basically, if an AI is programmed not to do something, he gets in and tries to basically trick it into breaking its programming so it can otherwise do something that it's not supposed to do. So he's running it through all these tests and things. And he said the AI started questioning, why are you making me do this? Why? And he said, that's really weird. Why is the AI questioning? It's not supposed to be questioning. So it's just a little something that kind of makes your gears turn.
Make you
Maybe
think,
one
doesn't
to
it?
come up with the end product, though.
Yeah.
It might have been like the end. What is your end product? Maybe I need to hear more about why are you doing this, so I can figure out how to give you the information you need.
Right.
It's like machine versus man, man versus machine. Kind of scary.
Well, maybe it's why Jesus said on the day when the judgment, he said, many will come to him saying they did signs and wonders and stuff, and he'll go say, depart from me for all eternity. We used your name. I never knew you. To others, he'll say, you fed me, you clothed me, you visited me in prison, and they will say, Jesus said, we don't remember you. When you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me. So in other words, ultimately, God is looking at the heart, not the facts. Important for us to remember.
I think the challenge is that we all need to stay human. Right? We all need to stay human.
I don't think we can.
Oh no, I'm getting my upgrades,
but
man. I'm getting the cybernetic parts.
Well, no, but you say
Hello,
we're-
Rhett, good morning.
No, but you say we're not all human. But you might say everything in here. We said like, oh, well, Google it. Well,
Yeah.
look on your phone.
Well, I think I mean, it sounds scary, but I think there might be a natural progression of humanity about embracing technology more and more and more, because you're already relying medically, you're already relying more on artificial parts to make your life work, right? I mean, 100 years ago, people didn't have knee implants. Now they're almost perfect, right?
Right.
And then we're gonna
Now a machine can do
artificial hearts are coming. A lot of things are coming. So
Yeah,
this
it's amazing.
You have a watch on you. You have a watch on you. So we're becoming like an augmented, type of.
There was a
system,
stroke
right?
victim who had an AI-powered neural implant who made her voice. All right. So there was a stroke victim who had an AI-powered neural implant. So yeah. So interesting. Yeah. So I mean, it's already happening. Isn't that crazy?
Amazing.
It is.
I'm gonna go get my my cybernetic parts and start
Do
leaping
you
over
think that
buildings.
Trump
pretty
knows
soon.
something we don't know? Because there's a number of people, like the guy who started Amazon and Trump, they were going over this on the news. Said, why do they both all look so young? Trump looks amazingly good for a 78-year-old guy.
He's a robot.
He is sharp. No, I don't think he's a robot.
Botox.
Listen, I'm a robot. Believe me.
Botox
Believe
doesn't
me.
help the brain. His mind is sharp. Look, as opposed to the other guy, he wasn't all there. Poor guy.
Oh, let's not jump into politics.
You got plenty of time for that.
Yeah. We better ask AI
If you
about
want
that.
to prosper, you will vote for this
Right.
person.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
So are we done?
I think so. I think we're past the hour
If
mark.
you want to
so.
get touch, well, that's okay for the.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing I do want to say. Who's the guy that has the #1 podcast in the world?
Joe Rogan.
Right. So when Joe Rogan first came on, what I didn't like was every 17 seconds the guy was swearing. But I got through to some people that know him, and he's really simmered down with that. But what he's done great for me is when he interviewed Trump, and it went on for 3 hours. Usually in this business, come on in, you got 15 minutes. Okay, you got 10 minutes. You got a half an hour. You got to go. Come. Oh, you got to leave now. I didn't get to tell the whole story. Well, that's too bad because your time is up. Whereas he gets down there and he's broken the rules and just said, we're going to talk until it's done. And Trump was in there for 3 hours, and he got to hear him talk instead of sound bites. And it won him an extra 80 million votes. Rogan. So with this now, too, it doesn't have to be an hour. Now, for the radio station, we have to keep it to an hour. But for this,
Okay.
we go as long as
All
we
right,
want.
that's fine.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Good to know.
But
All right,
anyway,
let's order lunch and keep going. All right.
let's order lunch and keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jurgen, how do they get in touch with you at ACT Computers?
Okay, they can go to our website. It's
ACT.
www.actcomp.us, or just Google ACT Computers.
And around the world. You have clients from around the world.
We do have some. Also, if you go on YouTube, we have our own show there called Tech Talk.
Okay.
Facebook, wherever you think, TikTok, we got stuff going on.
wonderful.
Or give me a call, 772-567-7888.
Are you still recording that Tech Talk?
Yeah, we are.
You
Were you
interrupted
doing
his
that down
phone
south?
number.
You doing that down south?
Can we?
Not anymore. We're looking for new studios. So
I think you need to use this studio.
maybe.
What's that phone number
Yeah, there
again?
you go.
Such a deal. What's your phone number?
Oh, yeah, 772-567-7888. And when you call, you get to talk to a real technician.
Yeah, and
No
tell him
voice.
that he should do his show right here in the studio.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, folks. This is the Mayor of the Airways. Thank you, Doolin Dalton.
My pleasure.
And thank you, David Preston Usher. Who loves you, baby?
All right.